All right. First, I want to say, this is my first time doing this. Actually, I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that, but I've never personally recorded anything, so bear with me. To my professor, um, I decided to do my presentation on the ethical theories that, to me, um, kind of he kind of grasped back then, even what's even going on today as far as healthcare and the fairness of healthcare, how it should be presented. Um, so the ethical theorist that I chose is John Rawls. John Rawls is known as modern a modern ethics theorist. Okay, he began his studies at Princeton. He went on from Princeton. He joined the military. Went to the army. Well, in the army, he served in World War II. And after witnessing the horrific effects that Hiroshima had on the citizens, he turned down an actual officer commissioning, turned the commissioning down, and got out. He was like, I can't deal with it. I've seen the effects of war, so he can't deal with it. Kind of ironic because I'm in the U.S. Navy, but he couldn't deal with it. Once he got out, he taught at Princeton for a while, went on to Oxford and Massachusetts Institute, where he taught for a while. He ended his career teaching. He was a professor at Harvard for like 40 years. He was a professor at Harvard, so that says a lot. Being that he was born in, I want to say, 1921, and he passed away in 2002. So 2002, that's only been like 16 years. So he was teaching up until the time that he passed away. While there at Princeton, he focused a lot of his teachings on the moral society. Focus on what moral society should be through social justice. Okay, so with that being said, he formulated his own ethical theory, kind of after Kant's. Kant's had his was more a utilitarianism type of thing, where he kind of took that, but he took from it what he thought worked the best as far as the moral standards and the equal, being treated equal as a human being, period. So he took that and he formulated his own ethical theory that he called the theory of justice, which is based on the self-interest concept. Okay, he also defined something called the liberty principle, which is the principle that all people should have the same basic rights as all others in society. Like I said, that's a lot similar to Kant's. So he basically saying that all people should be able to receive whatever, health care, jobs. That's how he feels it works. Sadly, as we all know, that's not the way that it is today in today's society. Everybody doesn't get treated the same, whether it's like race, color, gender, sexual orientation, what you like, what you don't like. We know that's not the case. But as I go on, in his theory kind of addresses it addresses how do you treat people, or treat those in the community who have the least amount of financial resources to invest in healthcare. I talk about this a lot when it comes to what do you call it? When it comes to the Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act. So the Affordable Health Care Act isn't so affordable. There are those that can't even afford the Affordable Health Care Act. They can't. And by that being that way, if you can't afford it, or you decided to get it for whatever reason, you get penalized for that. And I don't feel like that's fair to anyone. Like, what color. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. So if I can't afford the health care that y'all make me get, I'm gonna still get penalized for it. Let me get off my high horse. So, all right. So Rawls did not justify the right to health in his original theory. His original theory, he first defined this theory in 1971, was called The Theory of Justice as of Fairness. And he intentionally left out healthcare so that it can be built upon by others. He left because he didn't want it to focus people to focus on, okay, this is his theory is based around healthcare. No, it's not based around healthcare. Essentially, his theory is based around everyone should get the same amount of healthcare regardless of their stature in society, whether you're high or you're low. Because he looked at it as healthcare is a primary good. Like, that's something that you need. Everybody needs healthcare, right? So if you need healthcare, that's no different than you need water, or you need food, or you need clothing or shelter. You need it. It's a need. It's not a luxury for you to have healthcare. So it also covered, let's see, Rouse did not justify the right to health in his theory. The efforts to enlarge the theory to cover the right to health care flourished quite fast. See what I'm saying? So after he didn't put it into his original dissertation or whatever, I guess you want to call it, when you come up with a theory, he didn't put it in there originally. That allowed other philosophers and those of knowledge to come into it and kind of add their own and kind of say, okay, what is healthcare a priority, or is it a primary good? My opinion is yes. It's more important than water. Okay, so that's kind of so by him doing that, like I said, he didn't directly himself affect anything, like make any major contributions to healthcare, but he did and he didn't. So the way that he thought about social justice kind of influenced programs such as the Head Start program for the kids. You know, that's a good program, as well as Medicaid and Medicare, which a lot of older people, you know, my grandmother, that they use in order to get medical care, because they need it more so than anybody. You know, if you get older, you need more stuff. Also, even the Affordable Health Care Act, even though I don't agree with it, but his thought on it is what kind of made it, you can see where those that came up with the Affordable Health Care Act, you see where they would have kind of looked to Rawls as a guide to say, okay, well, this man said this back in the 1950s and 60s, like, okay, this is how it should be. You know, everybody should get treated the same, but you know, that didn't work out that way, in my opinion. His theory, lastly, this is like this is my closer. Lastly, his theory reveals that the need for an account of healthcare distribution within justice as fairness. Is what I'm saying.
I found something on the web about will be at the navel an account of haircut.
That's Siri. How I feel is that regardless of whatever, like Rouse, he feel like you're a human being. Everybody has the right to has the right to health care by any means necessary. Affordable health care. Everybody should be allowed to be able to be seen or be treated for whatever illness that they may have. So again, this is who my ethical theory was on, John Rawls. I look forward to doing some more research on him, because he has a lot more that I could probably talk for about. I can probably talk for like an hour, like honestly. I had to condense it down. I'm already at like almost 9 minutes, but I can talk for like hours on what he believed and the different views that he had. So with that being said, have a good night. Hope you enjoy it, and hope I get a good grade. Thank you.